We just finished up a great application and we're ready to steamroll forward right onto the next one. This next app that we're going to be focusing on is going to be using the Redux framework. Before we start talking about Redux though, we'll have a quick discussion on the app that we're going to build, just to kind of frame our discussion a little bit. That way we can then talk about Redux and then immediately jump into building our application without having to take a break to figure out, what we're building. So the next app that we're going to be working on is a little bit more simple than the one that we've been working on, or at least the one we just finished. But because we're adding Redux on top of everything else, I want to make sure that we've got a reasonably sized application to, address Redux in, because adding in Redux is going to be a little bit of an additional challenge here. So our next app is going to be sort of like, kind of vaguely flashcard style application. I don't know, maybe not quite flashcards. Users are going to be presented with a list of topics. So like Redux, React, Lodash, ESLint, Babel, Axios, all these different topics. Whenever a user taps on a topic, so like if I tap on React right there, I would expect to see this React section expand and show a description of the technology. So as this is rendered right now, it's showing it with Redux in a rendered state. So you can see Redux and beneath it is a description of that library. So whenever, whenever someone taps on a thing, boom, expand it, show a description. Now, as before, let's discuss some of the challenges within this application. First, we must use Redux to build this with, whatever difficulty or whatever requirements that entails. So we have to figure out what Redux is, figure out how we're going to apply it to this application. Second, we must figure out a way to render a list of elements in a performant, or at least performance-conscious, manner. Long lists of data on mobile devices are notorious for grinding applications to a halt. So we must figure out a way, like a super solid solution for rendering a list of items that may be very, very long. In the past, we used that map function to make a short list, but map starts to slow down once we start to get a lot of items. So I want to figure out how to render a list in a very efficient fashion. Third, we have to figure out animations. I want to make sure that whenever a user taps on a given section, we shouldn't just see like a description just like pop up instantly out of nothingness. Instead, I want to make sure that when a user taps on a section, we get a very smooth animation of this kind of box right here opening up and have our description nicely appear inside of there. So I want to have a very smooth transition when any of these sections open up. And to do so, we're going to have to figure out how to use the animation API with React Native. Again, all this is going to be framed through the lens of figuring out how to use Redux. So the goal here, first and foremost, figure out how to use Redux. And then on top of that, just at the same time, we're going to be learning about lists and animations as well. Anyways, let's get rolling. First thing I want to do is create a new project directory with the React Native command line tool. We're just going to start the installation and then take a break and continue from there. So right now I'm inside of my kind of overall projects directory, and here's my albums project and my auth project. So inside of here, I'm going to create a new React Native project by running React Native init, and I'm going to call this one Tech Stack. It's called Tech Stack because, we're going to be rendering a list of different technologies kind of in a stack fashion. I don't know. It's the best name I could come up with, guys. Okay. This is going to be our installation. Let's take a quick break and continue in the next section and start learning about Redux.